This week from Hollywood, we're taking you to the star-studded Los Angeles premiere of The Twilight Saga: Breaking Dawn Part 2.
A lot of red eyes around here.
To the premiere of Lincoln with Sally Field, Daniel Day-Lewis, Steven Spielberg, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
This fight is for the United States of America.
Out to lunch with Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus's moms in Calabasas, California. Next, we'll take you out to the soccer field with Reese Witherspoon and her 3 men. And shine the spotlight on Lincoln star Daniel Day-Lewis.
It's the man himself that invites you.
All of these updates and more coming up. But first, let's take a look at the red carpet.
Stay tuned.
The Twilight Saga: Breaking Dawn Part 2 broke box office records with its grand opening weekend earnings, and the film's premiere in Los Angeles was positively received as well.
I've had a bad habit of underestimating you.
Arriving together, Kristen Stewart posed for photos in a shimmering gold gown and also talked with fans and signed autographs.
I think the most go-to answer for everyone on one of these carpets is always, "Oh my gosh, it's so surreal." But to be honest with you, this time especially is so completely surreal. I'm just trying to absorb it. I'm trying to be here.
On and off-screen beau Robert Pattinson walked the line.
What other movie has this premiere about 20 times for the same movie? I mean, it's crazy. I don't think I'm ever going to experience this again.
So beautiful. We're the same temperature now.
Fans lined the barricaded streets at the Los Angeles premiere as creator Stephanie Meyer walked the red carpet and posed for pictures. Twilight co-stars Nikki Reed and Ashley Greene were excited to share in the Twilight craze.
A lot of red eyes around here.
And Dakota Fanning's little sister, Elle Fanning, showed her support of the last Twilight film as well. Sally Field checked in with us from the red carpet premiere of Lincoln at Grauman's Chinese Theater in LA.
It means so much that you feel like you've turned yourself inside out, and it's time for it to get to where it actually was meant to go.
Joining Sally at the premiere was the film's director, Steven Spielberg, and the film's star, Daniel Day-Lewis. The pair walked the red carpet side by side and answered questions from reporters while smiling broadly at the film's success.
Well, tonight we're at the end of a rainbow that didn't even need any sort of water in the air to create. It was just something that I had dreamed about, and I never really honestly thought, with all the legwork we all had to do to get to this point, whether we'd ever arrive here.
The idea that a man can set aside his ego to the extent that he can surround himself with people that essentially resent every single thing about him for the good of a country. And have the insight and the foresight to be able to do that. That's an astonishing human quality.
We're stepped out upon the world stage now, with the fate of human dignity in our hands. Blood's been spilled to afford us this moment now.
You know, it's a period movie, and it's about President Lincoln. You might think it's really serious, and when we were shooting it, it felt really serious. But when you watch it, Steven Spielberg just has a way.
We're trying to get Lincoln off his marble pedestal and into a kind of reality that we can all relate to, which was his own reality and people in the 19th century's reality. And you suddenly have to go back in history and remind yourself that all of this happened because of what one man did and how we benefit even today from what he did.
This settles the fate for all coming time. Not only of the millions now in bondage, but of unborn millions to come. Shall we stop this bleeding?
Hollywood moms unite! Justin Bieber's mom, Patty Millette, joined Miley Cyrus's mom, Tish Cyrus, at Corner Bakery in Calabasas, California. The two matriarchs appeared to be in deep discussion while patrons buzzed around them without disruption. Perhaps they were chatting about Miley Cyrus's recent visit to a skincare clinic. It could have just as easily been that they were discussing Patty's new book.
You know, I always thought
Patty?
Miley might be good
Her new
for
book?
Justin. You think Miley would be good for Justin?
Right for you. Read the book. It's probably in there.
What happens in the Hollywood mom circle stays in the Hollywood mom circle.
That's not up to me.
Are Britney Spears and fiancé Jason Trawick kaput? Our inside sources say that Brit and her former manager are postponing their impending December nuptials because there is a lot of infighting between the two of them. Apparently, the Hollywood elites are arguing more than having fun, and Britney sees Jason as more of a parental figure in her life than a lover. Well, that might get a little weird, but time will tell if these two walk down the aisle in style or never at all. You have to give it to them, this hasn't been a quickie wedding, which is a first for Britney. Jessica Simpson showed off her newly svelte physique while attending an event for her clothing line, the Jessica Simpson Collection. She lost an impressive 60 pounds since welcoming her daughter Maxwell to the world 6 months ago. Jessica has been under tremendous media scrutiny since joining Weight Watchers because it's taken her a good amount of time to tip the scales in the reverse direction. This weekend, she shared, "I'm just your everyday woman who is trying to feel good and be healthy for her daughter, her fiancé, and herself." Reese Witherspoon and ex-husband Ryan Philippe were a united front at Sun Deacon soccer game when their little boy became injured on the field. Also in attendance, Reese's new husband and father of their third child, Jim Toth.
We here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
This week, we shine the spotlight on Academy Award-winning actor Daniel Day-Lewis. The dual citizenship actor's prestigious work has included films There Will Be Blood, Gangs of New York, The Last of the Mohicans, and In the Name of the Father. Daniel is currently in theaters starring in the pivotal role of Abraham Lincoln in Lincoln.
I loved everything about that book, so that was a great beginning. But reading objective accounts about the life take you so far. Most of what becomes more interesting to me at a certain moment is to try and grow towards a subjective understanding of that man's experience, whoever it may be.
No one's ever been loved so much by the people. Don't waste that power.
This fight is for the United States of America.
It's the man himself that invites you because he was so open, and that was one of the most beautiful surprises of getting to know him was how insanely accessible that man was. At the time, it was actually physically very dangerous, in his case, to be accessible, but the White House was, an ever-open door. Tommy Lee Jones, who I've not worked with before, and apart from a shake of the hand, I'm not sure that we really had a conversation outside of the work. But it was, I don't expect to have a day's work that excites me as much as that day did. He seemed so completely open and fluid and trustful of the work. And I'd say that was true of every working relationship in the film. We worked together really for the best part of a year, which was a godsend between the time that we shook hands on it and the time that we began to shoot the film. A full year had elapsed, and I didn't need to know anything more about him after that period of time. I just couldn't wait to start.
I think we choose to be born, or we fit it to the times we're born into.
Well, I don't know about myself. You may be.
Former Desperate Housewives star Nicolette Sheridan cannot seem to get her day in court against Touchstone Television and ABC. The ruling comes only 2 months after the judge denied Sheridan's request for a rehearing of the initial case. Nicolette claimed 3 years ago that she was wrongfully terminated from the hot ABC show. She also said that she was physically assaulted by the show's creator, Mark Cherry. Perhaps she'll just have to do what every other jilted star in Hollywood ends up doing, writing a book about it.
Nicolette, all your fans want to know, when's your big comeback? What's your new show?
Stay tuned.
Aaron Sorkin is stirring up some controversy over his 3-scene Steve Jobs biopic starring Ashton Kutcher. The late Apple CEO will share in his own words what made his products and his brand successful in 3 30-minute extended scenes spawned from real-life behind-the-scenes footage. Aaron told the press there's no reason shining a spotlight on someone in a film unless they are flawed.
So this is your purpose, to enter the mountain?
What of it?
There are some who would not deem it wise.
In an interesting turn of events, the Hobbit production team is being blamed for the deaths of approximately 27 animals. Apparently, horses, goats, chickens, and 1 sheep died at a farm near Wellington where about 150 animals were housed for the duration of shooting the movies. The production staff claims that most of the deaths were from natural causes and that the film conditions had nothing to do with them. The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey, the first movie in the planned $500 million trilogy, is expected to launch with a red carpet premiere November 28th in Wellington. It will then open at theaters in the US and around the world in December.
Well, that could have been worse.
This week's Hollywood box office countdown includes a bevy of hot vampires, 007, and the 16th President of the United States.
Now!
In the number 5 spot this week, Flight starring Denzel Washington. Flight hit the countdown with $8.6 million.
No one could have landed that plane like I did.
I'm gonna wreck it!
In the number 4 spot this week, the animated feature Wreck-It Ralph with $18.3 million.
Closing time, last game, everyone out. I don't want to be the bad guy anymore.
It's either the amendment or this Confederate peace. You cannot have both.
For the first time on our countdown, in the number 3 spot, Lincoln, starring Daniel Day-Lewis, Sally Field, Jackie Earle Haley, Tommy Lee Jones, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. This Spielberg-directed film pulled in $21 million.
The fate of human dignity in our hands.
Skyfall.
007 moves to spot number 2 from spot number 1 this week with Skyfall.
Skyfall. Done.
The James Bond flick saw $41.5 million.
I have to report a crime.
For the first time on our countdown, right in the number 1 spot, The Twilight Saga: Breaking Dawn Part 2, starring Robert Pattinson, Kristen Stewart, Taylor Lautner, and Dakota Fanning. The vampires sucked the life out of the box office with a record-breaking $141.3 million.
Oh, Tori, they're coming for us.
Hollywood birthdays this week have our celebrities turning anywhere from 30 to 68. Here's our list of not to miss famous birthdays. Princess Diaries star Anne Hathaway turned 30. The View's Whoopi Goldberg turned 57. Mean Girls actress Rachel McAdams turned 34. Saturday Night Live creator Lorne Michaels turned 68. Meet the Parents comedian Owen Wilson turned 44. And the Flintstones' Elizabeth Perkins turned 52. Be sure to tune in next week for more glitz, glamour, and news from the Hollywood Newsfeed.